After weeks of campaigning and TV debates by political leaders in the United Kingdom, it's now the voters' turn. They head to the polls on Thursday to vote in what has been called one of the most important elections in a generation in the UK. Could there be a new Prime Minister? What are some of the major issues? And will the result have an impact outside Britain's borders? We begin with CCTV correspondent Richard Bestick, who joins us from London. And Richard, we're hearing this could be a very close election. What is it looking like there as voters head to the polls on Thursday?
And Andy, you heard absolutely right. Nothing separates Britain's two main parties, the Conservatives and Labour. But it gets worse. The votes they are expected to get, according to a welter of opinion polls, will give them so few parliamentary seats in that building you can see in the distance there behind me that they're unlikely to be able to put together a majority government, even with a coalition grouping of smaller parties. Now that, of course, raises the spectre of weak and unviable government. Let me give you an example, an idea of how addicted politics in Britain is to strong majority government. Of the 18 elections since the end of the Second World War, 16 have returned a single-party majority government. So you can see politically the UK is largely in uncharted territory. The reasons? Well, some say a broad disillusion with the body politics and politicians in particular. The rise of a number of smaller parties is also a factor. The result, though, could be this, that the face of British politics reflected in the mirror of this general election is fractured, and the consequences could be unpredictable and far-reaching.
Richard, are there any major differences between the two men who are most likely to become Prime Minister of Britain, that's Ed Miliband and David Cameron?
Well, on the economy, not really. This election hasn't been so much a clash of ideology as a display of management techniques. After 5 years of austerity, the line from David Cameron, the past and current Prime Minister, is pretty much more hair shirt economics with a few giveaways thrown in. Ed Miliband, the man after his job, is selling something similar, the same economic hair shirt, but with marginally fewer hairs. Austerity light, if you like. Those similarities, though, don't mean the outcome of this election isn't critically significant. It could change the way Britain does politics. First off, if David Cameron wins, there'll be a referendum on pulling out of the European Union. There are wider issues at stake too. For the first time, the Scottish nationalists look like winning Scotland. The Conservatives again look like winning England. But the country could end up being governed by Labour, raising, say some, questions of legitimacy and indeed whether the UK's ancient and much copied political system is still fit for purpose in Britain in the 21st century.